Hi everyone, so I'm on page 110 of our Starlight book, so if you want to open up that and you can follow along. We're on section 10A, so we're on to a different type of reading now. This is report writing. So we were focusing on poetry for the last few weeks, we finished that now, and now we're going to focus on reports. So a report is more of a factual piece of writing. It usually kind of teaches us something about the subject it's talking about, and it's usually broken into different sections. So this one here, you can see it starts off with an introduction, then it goes on to a subheading called home life. The next subheading is school, then we've got chores, and then over on the next page we have food and fun. So the introduction usually tells the reader what the report is going to be about. So I'm going to read that now, and you can follow along in your book on page 110. This report compares the lives of 3 children who live in very different places. Singapore, where Alicia lives, is bustling island city. The part of India where Nandi lives is a very rural, though many other Indian children live in cities. James's life in the Australian outback is unlike that of children who live in big Australian cities such as Sydney or Adelaide. Your life might seem like a big contrast to theirs, or maybe you've got more in common than you might think. So the introduction is telling us what we're going to be reading about, and we're going to be learning about the lives of 3 different children, and you can see the pictures of them there: Nandi, Alicia and James. And Nandi lives in Bihar in India, Alicia lives in Singapore, and James lives in the Northern Territory in Australia. So we're going to be learning about these 3 children and their lives, and maybe a little bit about where they're from. So the writer focuses on home life, school, chores, and, as we already said, food and fun. So I'd like you to read through that now yourself. You'll be well able to read all of it. And then we are going to go through section A questions. So the best thing for you to do now would be to pause the video and read the story, and then come back to the video where I go through the questions. So you could keep going now and listen to the questions, but it'll make much more sense to you if you do the reading first and then come back and listen to the questions. It'll just make you doing the questions much easier. So pause it now, read the story and come back. So section A, question 1. Which country does Nandi live in? Well, that was very easy. It said it actually in the introduction. In the picture, we know he lives in India. So a full sentence now. Write it out properly, please. Question 2. Which of the children does not live on a farm? So if I go back, probably go to home life there and see who does not live on a farm. So it says Nandi lives in a small village. I'm going to scan through that there now. And I can see the family's farm is about half the size of a football pitch. So Nandi does live on a farm. Alicia then, she's more in a city. And what about James? Yeah, he lives in a big farm. So who doesn't live on a farm, then work that out yourself and write it in a full answer. Question 3. What does Alicia do to help her do well in exams? So we're talking about exams here. So I would guess we're going to the school section and we're looking at the bit about Alicia. So what does she do to help her in exams? So scan through. You don't have to read the whole thing again. Just scan through it. And I can see the last line there. It says, Alicia goes to after school classes in maths and English to help her excel in exams. Question 4. Why doesn't James travel to school? So again, I think that's going to be in the school section. And I'm looking for the bit about James. So scanning through. And the very first line there says, James doesn't have to leave his house to go to school. His farm is too remote to travel there and back every day. So phrase that now in your own words into your answer there. Question 5. What does Nandi have to do before he goes to school? So that could possibly be in the school section, or it could be in the chores section. So scan through them both and see if you can find the answer. Now I don't see it in the school section, so if I go down to the chores section, it says his day starts early, long before school begins. He waters the crops and helps to milk the cows. So again, put that into your own words now and a full sentence for your answer. Now if you want to try the star question, you can. It's actually a nice question. Which child's life is most different to yours? Explain your answer. So that's your opinion. Which child there do you think is most different to you? And give a reason for your answer. So into your English copy now, heading can be the name of this report, which is Comparing Lives, and do section A, all of the questions there, 1 to 5, and you can do the star if you want. That's an optional extra question, and then take a picture and post to CISO.